What's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some awesome information for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And we're starting off with GameStop adding 21 untitled Nintendo Switch SKUs, that's stock keeping units, to their internal system. This usually happens right around the time of E3, but 21 big ones here when it comes to it. So let's go ahead and get into this article here. So with E3 just over a week away, retailers are almost certainly getting their systems prepped for upcoming announcements. Usually once a conference ends and official reveals are made, stores take pre-orders not too long afterwards. And with that in mind, GameStop seems to have given us a very rough idea regarding the number of announcements or new Nintendo Switch titles we could be seeing within the next few days after E3 or after the reveals, whatever the case is. Now, this is from Nintendo and also third-party developers. 21 SKUs, once again, stock keeping units, have been added to the retailer GameStop's internal system with no names, meaning that will likely be revealed at E3 or before E3, probably after the official announcements are made. Most of them are $60 titles, but there are some that are probably like a collector's edition of that. So maybe it could be like maybe 17 new games with collector's editions, or maybe 18 or 19 new games with one of them having a collector's edition with up to $200 in terms of the listing. So what does this mean? Well, it means like what it's mean before. If you remember last year, there was a lot of SKUs that went live beforehand, or not live, but where we saw them in GameStop's internal system. I think there was like 11 or 12, or there was something like that. There was like 15. There was just like a number of SKUs I remember last year, and those turned out to be stuff like Dragon Ball FighterZ, for example. That was a game that was revealed. There was also other stuff as well. So I think that that's what's going on with this one here. Nintendo is set to have a huge E3. They have a lot of momentum. They are pretty much winning the sales battles when it comes down to it, but they're winning the most important sales battle, and that is for their own self. That is for making sure that their numbers are good enough, not necessarily comparing to anybody else, but making sure that they beat what they are doing with the 3DS and with the Wii U, and they're definitely doing so, and making sure that they have enough games out there so their hardware is appealing. And if you look at the Nintendo Switch, pretty much every single month there are interesting titles for people to play, especially with that unique aspect of being able to take the Switch anywhere that you want. But I think that this is where things kind of get into overdrive when it comes down to it. There's already a lot of games that are going to be dropping in June, July, August, September, October. There's just so many games, and this is just going to add to it. Some of these titles could be revealed for usually like the stacked Novembers that Nintendo has. A lot of weird games like the City Skyline game, you had Civilization 6, you had a lot of these different games that were announced at various different Nintendo Directs or E3s that could be announced here with this, especially when it comes to Western games. Maybe one of these is the fabled Witcher 3 port that people have been talking about when it comes down to things, or that's been rumored. Maybe there's some other stuff going on. It looks like there's some rumors going around that there could be Call of Juarez, the gunslinger game from Techland, being remastered as well. Who knows what else this is going to bring? I mean, I'm pretty sure Nintendo's going to have at least a remaster or two, so we could see that from the Wii U era. Hopefully Xenoblade Chronicles X, or maybe even the Wonderful 101. People have talked about Pikmin being brought back. I mean, there's still a number of games on the Wii U that would be cool. People have talked about Super Mario 3D World, but I don't think they're going to do that because of Super Mario Maker 2. So overall, this is just exciting. It's really cool, and it's exciting to see what Nintendo could be bringing to E3. I think they're going to have a great show. They have a lot of games already planned for 2019, and they're also going to have new announcements as well with this internal listing here. So what do you guys think about the 21 untitled Nintendo Switch SKUs dropping sometime, or at least being revealed probably around the time of E3 and at Nintendo's digital E3 event? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, the Code Vein producer, this is Bandai Namco, has stated that there might be a possibility down the line of getting a Nintendo Switch port of Code Vein. So Bandai Namco has started to bring over a number of their titles over to the Nintendo Switch. We've seen games like God Eater 3 get announced. That's dropping this July. We have Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. That game is dropping this summer on the Nintendo Switch. I think it's like August or something like that. We also had last year Dragon Ball FighterZ. That game dropped on the Nintendo Switch. And what do all of those games have in common with Code Vein? They all use Unreal Engine 4. So let's go ahead and get into what Bandai Namco had to say on their newest game, which is an action RPG that copies Dark Souls, which I've played on this channel, Code Vein, and it's actually really good. It's a very good game. So let's talk about this in this interview with GameStop with one of the producers. Quote, "We are focusing on development of the PS4, Steam, and the Xbox One, but as far as the possibility of porting to the Nintendo Switch or the Epic Game Store, there might be a possibility down the line. We can't really say for sure at this point." If you're looking at a lot of these games, when it comes to Bandai Namco, you're looking at the sales of how these games have done. Dragon Ball FighterZ did extremely well on the Nintendo Switch. If you're looking at what they're going to bring over, I know that Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet's going to do well. Hollow Realization, not so much just because of how old that game is, but I think Fatal Bullet, the complete edition with all the content, is going to do very well. Bandai Namco has brought over the Naruto games, which were at the top of the eShop charts for a while. They've brought over a number of titles. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, which is the Ibis engine or whatever else, it's a different one, but that's done really well on the Nintendo Switch. That's sold extremely well. So I think a game like this, Anime Souls, would do well on the Switch too, because it really is that. It's Anime Souls. But if you like, let's say, Dark Souls, but you want a little bit more of a story experience, you kind of want things a little bit different, more RPG kind of packed into there, this is the game for you. And that's what I like so much about Code Vein. And I talked about that in my Let's Plays that you guys are seeing on the channel coming up here. Code Vein is a fantastic game that would fit so well on the Nintendo Switch. So if they were going to bring it over, that's cool. If they don't bring it over, then whatever. You can play it on the PS4 and Xbox One. Now, the thing about this is, would people double dip? Because it would come sometime down the line, like he does say. But it depends. I think that if it does come, adding in some extras would be nice. But I think a lot of Nintendo Switch fans would be patient considering all the different games that are coming out this year. I mean, there's just so much stuff. And if this game came later, like let's say early 2020, for example, I think that people would be fine with that. I think people would be like, all right, that's cool. I can play some Code Vein. Now, would you double dip? I'd probably double dip because this game has so many different varieties of ways to play. It'd be kind of cool to play a portable version of that. But at the same time, I know some people might not want to and just want to get the game right away. I know I'm going to be picking up the game day one, or I'm probably going to get in a review code for it. But I'd definitely buy a Switch version if they wanted to do that, because the network test that they're doing is really cool, which you can play the network test offline too. But it's a really fun game and it's really good. I like it a lot. So what do you guys think about Code Vein having the possibility of coming over? Once again, this is an Unreal Engine 4 title. We've already had a number of Bandai Namco Unreal Engine 4 games already be ported over. I think this one's going to come at some point, but we'll have to wait and see if that actually happens. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, I'm moving on to the final topic here. Square Enix might be doing something that we have been waiting for them to do for a very long time, 2 years, and that is the Secret of Mana collection that has been rated in Europe. So that points, all things point to E3 2019 at Square Enix's press conference, them revealing this game for the Switch. So Square Enix filed a Japanese trademark for the collection of mana earlier this year. Based on that listing, many fans had hoped that the Nintendo Switch package would finally be localized for the West. Now there's even more evidence of this happening. Now today, Square Enix picked up another trademark for collection of mana. The filing was done this time around in Europe, with E3 2019, of course, right around the corner. Perhaps we could finally be getting this, and that's what I want. I remember M2, the people who did this in Japan, were saying, hey, if you want to see it, make sure you say you want to see it. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm just going to let other people talk about it, and they're just going to do it at some point. But you know what? Maybe it's finally coming into fruition here. Now, this collection, for those who don't know, it includes Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, and Seiken Densetsu 3. Now, Seiken Densetsu 3, that has never been officially released here in the West in any capacity. Now, there are some fan translations. There's a really good one to where people can play the game, so that's already been out there. But people want an official collection that you can play anywhere that you want, away from your PC or whatever the case is, and not have to hack or put it on a PSP or a Vita or something like that, or put on some type of homebrew device. But you can have it officially from Square Enix anywhere that you want, along with Secret of Mana 2, or just Secret of Mana here in the West. That game's phenomenal. That's on the Super Nintendo Classic. People are enjoying that game. And then the original game, which is still kind of hard to play when it comes down to it, Final Fantasy Adventure, which it's not really, it's a Secret of Mana game, but they named it Final Fantasy Adventure because Final Fantasy is more popular, so there you go. But yeah, it's Secret of Mana essentially. So you get those games, and those are some of the best games in the series. The Mana series has a long history of games, but these are pretty much the best ones, especially Secret of Mana 2, Seiken Densetsu 2, or Secret of Mana, and also Seiken Densetsu 3. Those two games are extremely good. So if we were able to get 3 for the first time here, that would be something that a lot of fans would really want, and obviously Square Enix knows that, so maybe the time is ripe, because they don't have an official translation. Maybe that was the reason why it's taking so long. They have to take care of all the legal stuff with getting that translation, because I don't think they did it themselves. Did they really fund that? What took them so long if they were going to fund it at some point? Did they really want to fund that? I mean, we got, like, what was it, like Star Fox 2 before we got Seiken Densetsu 3, so I don't know. Maybe they use the fan translation, because there is a really good one that everyone who speaks Japanese and English that has looked over and says, yeah, there's not really any wonkiness or anything like that. It's translated well. So I think that maybe they use that, and maybe they're clearing up legal stuff with that. So we'll have to wait and see. I think it's going to be interesting to see if this game does come and what else Square Enix has for the Nintendo Switch at E3. But overall, I'm just excited for the show. PS4, Xbox One, PC, Switch, everything. I'm just excited to see what Square Enix has for us, because they're an exciting developer. They got some of the best IPs in the industry. So what do you guys think about all the different topics here, from GameStop's internal system to Code Vein potentially being on the Switch down the line? Also, Secret of Mana collection, could that possibly be coming over? Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section below. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace!